Good morning, everybody, and welcome to PWR Today. Today is Tuesday, April 21st, 2020. My name is Andrew Baydala. Happy to be waking up with you all this morning. Today, we are going to get into a couple of topics. I will touch on them, and then we're going into a full Raw review with the man they call Meathead, who will be joining us via Skype from last night's Monday Night Raw. Today's headlines include the new TV taping schedules for WWE and live events, WWE Money in the Bank corporate style at WWE headquarters, The Rock open to a match with Roman Reigns, and Jim Ross says Rusev would be a priority for him to sign if he was in charge at AEW. This and much, much more coming up next on PWR Today. All right, let's jump into today's hot news. I'm going to start with The Rock. He talked about a possible match with Roman Reigns. The Rock has been doing these live Q&As on Instagram with his Terramana tequila, which is excellent, by the way. If you haven't tried it, go try it if you're a tequila drinker. While doing a Q&A on Instagram Live, Dwayne The Rock Johnson spoke about the possibility of having a match with Roman Reigns in the future. He says, "I think anything is possible. I'm always open. You never say never in the world of professional wrestling. You never say no to Vince McMahon, who has been one of my mentors in business for a very, very long time. He's also a very close friend and confidant. You never say no. For something like that to happen, I think the venue would have to be right, the business model would have to be right, but I'm very close with Roman. He's family to me, so we will see." Yeah, The Rock and Roman have teased this match, I don't even know how many times, probably for the past 5 years, and we always think, well, is this WrestleMania going to be the year? I really thought that WrestleMania 37 or 36 could have been the WrestleMania you saw or will see Roman versus The Rock. I think if WrestleMania is moved from LA, I think the possibility of this match happening goes down drastically. But again, The Rock wrestling is going to be something where he can't be committed to any movie or television roles. And for that man, that is so tough because he's involved in pretty much everything. So, again, movie contracts really prevent professional wrestlers, as you saw with John Cena, as you've seen with The Rock, and even Hulk Hogan back in the day, from really being able to perform. Because if they get hurt during a promotional tour or before they go on a promotional tour for the movie or media, it gets very sticky. So I'm not sure if The Rock and Roman Reigns is ever going to happen, but The Rock's smart to keep the door open here, and I think we'd all like to see it. Next up is Jim Ross on the releases, and he speaks on Rusev. AEW commentator Jim Ross commented on the news of the releases on his podcast this past week and said that Rusev would be his priority. Rusev would be my priority. That's who I'd want to go after because I could see him having some major pay-per-view main event matches with a variety of top talents in our company, AEW. Anybody would be smart to hire him, says Ross. Jim Ross is spot on here. I mean, Rusev's character has shined over the past couple of years. He's a very talented in-ring performer, and I think, getting away from WWE will really let him, be the wrestler and the actor, everything that he wants to be, the character. And maybe, Jim Ross sees what pretty much everybody else sees, but Jim Ross also has a very good eye for talent. Let's not forget how many people Jim Ross signed to developmental. They became superstars. The list is endless. How many people Ross took from WCW, etc., etc. Jim Ross is spot on here. Rusev would be a welcomed addition anywhere, let alone AEW, where, that roster would just become stacked if Rusev joined it. WWE's next pay-per-view is going to be Money in the Bank corporate style. This year's Money in the Bank's men's and women's participant will have a even more unique challenge ahead of them than usual. The match begins on the ground floor of WWE headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut, but the briefcases containing contracts for a championship match anytime, any place, anywhere will be hanging all the way up to the roof of the corporate tower. Catch the historic groundbreaking matches when WWE Money in the Bank streams live on the award-winning WWE Network Sunday, May 10th at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. That was the press release from WWE here about Money in the Bank. They are basically taking their event, which would be fanless anyway, and putting it in Stamford, Connecticut's headquarters, which I think is brilliant. I think basically what they're doing is, we all saw how well the Boneyard match was received and how Bray Wyatt's acid trip match was well received, the Firefly Funhouse, and I think this is smart. The building is probably going to be gutted soon anyway, I know within the next 6 months, because they're moving to their bigger office, so why not? They're making chicken salad out of chicken you-know-what, and I think it works here. I really do. I think this is going to be fun. I think we're all going to enjoy how they present Money in the Bank, and they're going to keep experimenting with these cinematic matches just because they don't have any fans to tell them how things are going at a live building. So they're going to try these, see how they're received, and then you could see a lot more of them in the future if this is the way we're headed with live events. So we got the schedule for the WWE's following television taping. So I will read to you exactly how they are laid out, and then I'll explain to you basically what they are. So Monday, April 20th, which was yesterday, Raw aired live. Wednesday, April 22nd, NXT will air live. Friday, April 24th, SmackDown will air live. After that, they get into taping. So right after this Friday's SmackDown, they will tape on Saturday, April 25th, the SmackDowns for May 1st and May 8th. Then, on Monday, April 27th, they will have a live Raw for April 27th, and then they will tape May 4th's live edition of Monday Night Raw, which won't be live, but they might continue to use the word "we're coming to you live." Wednesday, April 29th, NXT will be live for 429, which is April 29th. And then on 5/6, which is May 6th, they will tape again. So they're taping May 6th's show on April 29th for NXT. Basically what they're doing is you're not going to see any more Friday Night SmackDowns live. That is done. Monday and Wednesdays, you will have live Raws for certain days. It's every other. So basically what they're doing here is they're going to have Raw live, and then next week's will be taped the same day, and then they'll come back a week later, tape that, and then have another one in the can for 2 weeks. So basically they're getting 4 weeks of television in 2 weeks' time. So you have Raw live on 4/27, and then you won't have another live Raw until May 11th, because they would have already taped May 4th's edition of Monday Night Raw on 4/27. So they're giving the talent a break from travel. They're giving all the people who help produce live television a break from travel. And I think it's smart. It's every other week. The WWE then put this out as well. The WWE will continue to be strict on the health and safety measures during the tapings at the Performance Center. This includes the use of face masks, medical screenings, matches done in waves, and adhering to social distancing practices when we are not performing. The WWE confirmed its schedule and issued the following statement. We believe it is now more important than ever to provide people with a diversion from these hard times. The company said in the previous statement, we are producing content on a closed set with only essential personnel in attendance following the appropriate guidelines while taking in additional precautions to ensure the health and wellness of our performers and staff. As a brand that has been woven into the fabric of society, WWE and its superstars bring families together and deliver a sense of hope, determination, and perseverance. I know everybody wants to, dog on the WWE or give them grief for doing these live televisions, but I think it's refreshing that they are going to give us live TV. I think they made the smart call for taping, and I think, they're limiting the times of interaction of superstars, staff, et cetera, et cetera. I just think it's smart. I'm thankful they're giving us live TV. I know the ratings really don't reflect the want or need for these shows right now, but I think it's a welcomed diversion from everything we're going through, and instead of being negative about it, I've always looked at the positive in this, and that they're producing content for us to watch on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And if they're taped, they're taped. If they're live, they're live. I'm just happy they're doing something. And finally, we are going to review last night's Monday Night Raw. I'm not going to do this one alone. I'm going to bring in the man they call Meathead to finish this one out here on PWR today. Meathead, how are you?
Doing good. Alive after all the noise we had last night here in the greater Appleton, Fox Valley area. Penny-sized hail ripping through here.
Okay, you guys had some bad weather, huh?
Yeah, really gnarly stuff.
Yeah, Monday Night Raw was some gnarly stuff, and I don't know if it was is that good or bad. It really depends on your taste in professional wrestling and sports entertainment. 12 matches last night and some segments that were just mind-boggling to me. We will touch on majority of these matches. I will run through the matches, but let's talk about one thing that kind of stood out to me. And Mita, I'll let you take the floor here with Hartwell versus Shayna Baszler and how they're focusing on Shayna Baszler for the wrong reasons.
Shayna Baszler, so last week, she had that match with Sarah Logan, and it was so brutal. Even the ring announcer and referee got it all crossed up where they said that she didn't win. He had to have Kane correct it. What is she doing that's against the rules? This is a wrestling match. I mean, she's the cage fighter. I know they're trying to sell her brutality. However, why is it deemed so bad? She's winning, and she's incapacitating her opponents. I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, me either. I think they're trying to make her out to be a killer, which I understand. She is a legitimate fighter. She has that Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey feel to her, and I think they're building her up that way. I think she's a shoo-in to win the Money in the Bank, but that's a different conversation for a different day. She's been running through everybody, and I just think that they didn't want to put the championship on her at WrestleMania. They didn't want to devalue Becky. Even though I probably would have not devalue Becky, but I would have put the belt on Shayna Baszler. And I think they're just making her a stone cold killer. So I don't know what she's doing wrong either. I don't know why they're focusing on that.
Yeah, this is something that I've been saying for the 20-some years we've been doing this. I'll say it for the first time in front of you. And in this format, the money is always in the chase. It's always in the chase.
Absolutely. We saw Monday Night Raw kick off last night with Drew McIntyre, and then he was interrupted. I'm really enjoying Selena Vega's stuff with this whole stable that they have. And, I think she's shining here. She really is.
I really do too. This is the first time she had an interaction with Aleister Black, which is, if you're paying attention, a little awkward, but I thought it went well. I thought she actually did a job. The last 2 weeks, we've had 3 to 4 segments each night of her, and she is really shining through. I think she's doing some great work. I'm glad to see her doing it from her humble beginnings as, a girl that was running around with LAX over in TNA to being Zelina Vega and being the top female manager. Not that that's a title that everybody's clamoring for, but she's far and away the top level talking talent right now as far as people come to the ring.
Meathead is not just a WCW historian. You saw the Impact reference there. That's a good piece of history for people who probably don't know that Zelina Vega did not just come from WWE developmental. And I do believe she has been the star of Monday Night Raw for the past couple of weeks. I've enjoyed what she's done. I enjoy how she builds up Austin Theory and Garza and Andrade, and it's been a welcomed addition, and she really has stole the show. This Black versus Austin Theory match, in my opinion, was fantastic. Tough to pick a winner here. I know they went with Aleister Black. I think he should be another one who's highly considered to win this thing. But what did you think of this match?
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match, and we got more talking out of Black because last week they asked, "So what's your approach for this?" To win. So he talked a little bit about it tonight, a little bit more. Again, we talked about during primetime last night about how it's going to be at the WWE Titan Towers. It's going to be very unique. I'm hoping. I had this kind of epiphany while watching Raw tonight. Maybe it could be like a Bruce Lee movie where they got to work through levels. If Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is on one of the back staircases, I'm going to be shocked.
I believe that's a movie reference. If people don't,
it is a Bruce Lee movie reference.
Yes. Yeah. They need to take full advantage of that whole Titan Towers and destroying it, because they are going to be moving within the next 6 months. And I think we're going to get a movie feel to that. And I'm excited for Money in the Bank. I know we touched on that last night, but I am. Sticking with Money in the Bank, we're going to talk about Apollo Crews versus MVP. Meathead, I'll let you start with this one because I have some heat to roll off on this one, but go ahead.
So when did MVP retire? Let's just call it out.
There you go. Go ahead.
I don't hate MVP by any means. I actually enjoy the man. Got to meet him at a Blizzard Brawl. I think it was not this last year's, but the year before. Gentleman, scholar, professional. Came up to me and said hello. I said hello back. We had a great conversation. Professional, right? But if you're going to say you retire, why are you now competing for the heavyweight championship, or at least an opportunity to go for the heavyweight championship or universal championship? I understand that the talent is limited down there who's at the building, but it really, when you see a match with MVP and Apollo Crews going, well, who am I supposed to root for? Apollo Crews, we haven't barely seen him anywhere, and MVP is supposed to be retired. Is this going to be a double DQ? No, it's Apollo Crews. Okay, well, he's a 1 in 6 shot now to win the whole thing. All right, great.
Yeah, I agree with you. MVP, I think, came back to probably produce some stuff, and he's going to put over the younger talent, and I'm all for it. His mic work is very good. His in-ring his days have clearly passed him by, and he was a gifted and talented performer.
Slipped on the mic tonight, too. Pretty big.
Yeah, unless that was done on purpose, but I agree that there might have been, it looked like a little slip up there. But I think this is good for Apollo Crews. I'm happy they're finally using him. He is super talented. The MVP, I don't understand why they put him in there. I get it. He's a veteran. They make them, they get the big win for Apollo Crews over a guy who has, been around for decades and has held titles. To me, I just wish Apollo Crews maybe shined a little more in this one, but he got the win. So they're doing their job.
Yeah.
We'll talk about Ray and Buddy Murphy for another Money in the Bank qualifying match, which I thought this match had the potential to be the best match of the night. It was good. I don't understand why they went with Rey Mysterio other than to put him in a match that is gimmicked, but this is not your typical Money in the Bank, so I would have liked to have seen Murphy win this one. But Meathead, what do you got?
Well, Ray is there just to, I mean, not that we're gaining buys anymore. You know, the old model would be that's the guy that goes on the pay-per-view poster. Ray is there to be the guy on the poster. Buddy Murphy is there to get maybe the rub from Ray. But, you know, right now the focus is on Seth. So Buddy wasn't going to be in this match.
Yeah, it was a weird one for me. I really thought this had the potential. I mean, the work rate was great, but I would have liked to have seen Murphy go over. I'm going to touch on this strange Viking Raiders promo that they did in the car. I don't know how or why they were convinced to do this. It doesn't make any sense to me. This is the type of stuff that I think they need to do away with. The same thing goes with this Lashley and the tire segment. Mm-hmm. I don't get either of them. What are your thoughts on the Viking Raiders?
Well, I thought that was Heavy Machinery doing that. Wasn't that Heavy Machinery doing that? Tucker and Otis?
No, I think it was that was the Viking Raiders.
That's an intentional joke, as in, I mean, they got big slabs of mutton or, you know, turkey legs. So you're going down to the Renaissance Fair. It looked like a joke to me, and it took away any seriousness from the Viking Raiders. So I knew it was the Viking Raiders, but I was saying that on purpose, as in that stuff should have been saved for Tucker and Otis.
That's a fantastic point. That is their gimmick, not the Viking Raiders. So maybe Vince McMahon just forgot, or the writers forgot who the Viking Raiders are. Let's talk about the Bianca Belair versus Santana Garrett match with the Street Profits on commentary. Mm-hmm. You could take this one because I don't get it.
It's not the girls that worked in the ring. It's that the Street Profits were well over the top. And honestly, I didn't want to sound like the cranky old man, but luckily for me, a crankier, older man by the name of Jerry the King Lawler goes, guys, knock it off. Sit down, shut up. Already, it's an empty building, so it's too much. Sit down and shut up. And they wouldn't. They just, honestly, I think they had a couple jolts, a couple 5-hour energy drinks right before the match, and they just couldn't stop.
Jolt, that is a great throw in there. That is a caffeine-induced drink that, man, when we were kids, you can get your hands on that. That was worse than Red Bulls. But yeah, this, I love the Street Profits. I love their work, but I just don't get this at all. Charlotte Flair in the squash match. It was good to see the NXT champion. We're not going to really touch on that one because Charlotte's the best thing going today. But why don't you talk about the main event and then send us home? Drew McIntyre versus Garza. What'd you think of this one?
Great work. However, I mean, it's really kind of predictable stuff. Drew McIntyre going through all of Zelina Vega's boys. So who's next week? Is it going to be Austin Theory that he gets a match with? The only thing we didn't get, and it was proven to us that we weren't going to get it, is Seth Rollins sitting on a couch with, I wanted to know what was over Seth's right shoulder. Was it a picture of him and Becky with like skeleton hands? That was bugging me the whole time.
But it's a painting of something. I can't even describe it.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's not the, Firefly Funhouse with a picture of Seth with his eyes crossed out. But it was an okay match. I mean, here's the thing, and with all of the empty arena stuff that we got doing, there's still stuff going on that doesn't belong in an empty arena scenario. Drew counting off the Claymore kick, 3, 2, 1. That's a crowd move. It doesn't work in an empty arena. Who cares that you're counting it off? There's no one there to know you're counting it off, right? The Street Profits, yelling was actually, even though it was obnoxious, it helped because it was empty arena. The other people that are pointing out to the crowd saying we did it, Apollo Crews yelling out, I'm going to Money in the Bank. Okay. I mean, maybe your mom was watching. Maybe she didn't know, and she heard you yelling it at the end of the match. The match was fine. Drew went through the team again. The only one he didn't go through again at the end of the night was Andrade, but why? Who cares?
Yeah, I think Drew McIntyre and Garza had a good match. And like you said, I was waiting for a Seth appearance. Didn't happen. Long night of wrestling last night, 12 matches. I'm happy they're giving us matches. It seems like a lot of enhancement talent at times, or maybe local Florida talent. But the I don't know, the vignettes and the promos to me this week didn't make sense. But we'll see what happens next week. Meathead, thank you very much for joining us.
Absolutely.
Hope to see you next week, and hope to see you back on this show on Monday and next Tuesday.
All right, you guys get to work now. I know you're driving to work, so focus on the road now. Let's get going. You guys have a good one.
All right, Meathead, thank you very much.
Yep.
Well, there you have it. There was our review of Monday Night Raw last night, live from the Performance Center. You could follow me at TicketDrew on Twitter. You can follow the rest of the PWR crew on Facebook and Instagram at PWR360 now, Twitter at PWR360, and the website for all your professional wrestling needs and podcasts is www.pwr360.com. We are on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean. Please like, subscribe, and leave a 5-star review. We greatly appreciate it. I look forward to doing these each and every morning with you guys. Hope you feel the same, and I will see you tomorrow for PWR Today. My name is Andrew Baydala. Enjoy the rest of your day.